Hi, I'm Mark Mazzaferro, and it's time for another episode of What's the Plan? And with us today, as always, is the star of What's the Plan, Barton Brierly. Barton, thank you for being here today.
Good to see you, Mark.
So, Barton, today we're going to talk about a topic that's been on everybody's mind and been a big topic of discussion here in the city, and that's Green Tree Golf Course. That's a private golf course, isn't it?
Yes, it's privately owned by the Sire family.
And it's closed.
Yes, they've been losing money for years, and so they decided to close the golf course. They went from about 110,000 rounds a year down to 30,000 rounds a year, and there just wasn't enough money to keep the course open.
And it's not coming back, is it?
No, unfortunately, it's not.
Well, I know when they made the announcement, a lot of folks were upset, and a lot of people called City Hall. I mean, I got a few calls. You probably got calls in your office saying, hey, I got a great idea. Why doesn't the city take over the golf course? Is that even a possibility?
Well, the property owners have never offered that to the city, and in that they've been losing money for years, there's no reason to believe that the city took it over, the city wouldn't be losing money also.
Well, and it kind of reminded me of when the minor league baseball stadium, I mean, you weren't around for this, but the stadium had all kinds of problems. It finally went out of business, and everybody wanted the city to take it over as well and let people use it for free. Well, it was losing money already, and we certainly couldn't afford to take that expense on. Same thing with the golf course, I'm
That's
sure.
right.
So what are the plans for the property? What is the Sire family? What do they want to do with it?
Well, they had what's called a charrette in May. They invited the public in, and they did an intensive design process to figure out what they wanted to do with the property. And in that process, they developed a plan that would include a grocery store and a commercial area near the north end of the property, multifamily housing in the middle, and single-family housing in the south, really mixed use in the middle. And a little commercial center in the middle of the property too. And with a lot of what we call new urbanist concepts, where you'd have your house facing a walkway or a green area rather than a street, things like that.
And would we allow that to happen? Would the city, I mean, is that allowed in that area?
Well, it's really still zoned for a golf course right now. And we just updated our general plan, and that's what our general plan says. So that's still to be determined. They certainly can propose that, and it can go through the process, but that's still to be determined.
Yeah, and I'm going to guess that they haven't applied for any permits or submitted any plans or anything at this point.
No, they haven't. They just went through that charrette process. I do anticipate that they'll submit something probably by the end of the year, but they haven't submitted anything formal. We don't have any of the plans in our office or anything.
Right. Okay, so you talked about the charrette, and from what I understand, a lot of people attended these meetings. They had hundreds, right? A couple hundred folks?
Yes, they had a lot, and mostly the residents nearby. They're very interested in it because a lot of people had their homes there, will have their homes there, and we're overlooking a golf course, and are very concerned about that. So the family got a lot of input on their wants and desires for that.
So when it finally does come to the city, I mean, I'm going to guess that it'll go through a public process like any large project or even small project that comes to Vacaville, right?
Oh, definitely. It'll take several public hearings, public meetings, a lot of notice, so there'll be a lot of opportunities for the public to get involved and to weigh in before any decision is made.
So any idea when all that's going to happen? Next week, next month, next year?
It's a multi-year process.
Okay.
They can file an application, but still that has to go through the city council to even decide whether to move forward with the project. And then if they do, there's an environmental review, a lot of planning, a lot of updating of utility plans and things like that. So it'd be a few years before they could even get approval. And there are a lot of other factors too. The property may not develop for a number of years.
Sometime, yeah, sure. So I guess the first step would be a general plan amendment and then a zoning amendment, or would the general plan amendment take care of that?
There would be one set of approvals. They would need to first go to the city council and get permission to even start the process
To move
through
forward, sure.
with a merit hearing, and then through that they would have to develop a proposal for a general plan amendment, zone change, tentative map, and all those approvals.
Okay, so what happens in the meantime? Obviously, nobody's playing golf out there.
Right.
The driveway is closed. There's a big open spot out there.
Yes, well, the property owners making provisions to maintain the property in the meantime. They'll need to continue to do some level of maintenance just to make sure it's not a nuisance or a fire hazard. And they have been out there, I've noticed, keeping it mowed at least to a point. People need to remember that it is private property, and they shouldn't be trespassing on the private property in the meantime.
Well, I guess the tough thing that has to be considered is if you live in those homes out there and you've been looking at a golf course for however many years, you think of your home as being on a golf course, but it's not your classic golf course community by any means, is it? In other words, they didn't build the homes around the golf course. They built the homes after the golf course, or explain that.
Yeah, they actually built the golf course first. It was built in the early 60s, even before it was annexed to the city. And so that's always been a separate entity from the homes. And so the homes were built near the golf course. So it's not a golf course community in that, each property owner has been paying dues or buying into the golf course.
Is a member of the club or whatever.
Right.
Right. Okay, good. So enough about Green Tree. I think we have a link on our website that takes you to their page that they're keeping updated. We're not, as you said, it's a piece of private property, and as a courtesy, we're keeping that information on our site for residents to go to. So
Yes.
We'll put that on the bottom of the screen. People can see where to go. So I heard there's a hotel coming to town. Tell us about it.
There's a proposal for a hotel near the Sunrise Event Center, the Sunrise Hotel. And it'd be a 4-story hotel with about 121 rooms being proposed. And they're really looking at connecting that to the event center so that people scheduling events there could also schedule rooms and have people stay at the hotel while they attend the events.
Kind of go together, obviously.
Yes.
Makes perfect sense. Kind of like a conference center almost, hotel
Yes.
and meeting area.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
Well, the Sunrise facility is really nice. They did a fantastic job in there. It's huge and massive, and got to believe a hotel is going to help not only their area but other areas as well too.
Yes, definitely. If anybody hasn't been to the event center, they need to go. They just did a fabulous job renovating that, and any event would be fabulous in that location.
All right, and I understand there's lots of industrial interest in building going on as well in our fine city.
Yes, we've had a lot of interest in warehouse and distribution projects. Buzz Oats has been a builder doing several of those projects. They've got about 400,000 square foot project on Crocker and Aldridge. There's 4 buildings there. They just submitted plans for another complex on Aldridge. It'd be 2 buildings, about 250,000 square feet.
Right.
There's an area behind the Nut Tree near the airport that's a office park, and there's proposing about 175,000 square feet of flex industrial space there. So yes, a lot of industrial development happening.
Yeah, they just got done building that 600,000 square foot building for Pacific Cycle.
Yes.
And then another 200,000 or whatever it is square foot building, literally a stone's throw across from where the Pacific Cycle building is. And now, that's millions of square feet of space that they've built in the last few years.
Yes.
Good deal.
Yes. Vacaville's a great place to do business.
Do they have any plans for tenants? They got to believe buildings of that size, they must have some idea who's going in there. Do we know yet or not?
Well, they do have some prospective tenants. Nothing that we have to announce, but I know they have been talking with a number of potential occupants for those buildings.
Okay, good. So lots going on. Again, as the economy keeps perking along, we seem to be seeing the impacts of that here. Both we saw how bad it was in the past,
Yes.
and now we're seeing the benefits of an improving economy too, as well,
Yes.
aren't we?
Yes, yeah, definitely. A lot of development. Residential development's really picked up. In the last fiscal year, we did 369 permits for new single-family homes.
That's the most we've done in quite a while, isn't it?
Yes, in about a decade, so
Yeah.
or 15 years or so. So yeah, residential development's definitely picking up, keeping us busy.
Good. Anything else going on you want to share with our audience?
Just things are going really well in Vacaville. It's a good place to live, good place to do business.
Good deal. Well, Barton, thank you for taking some time out of your day, getting us caught up on all the development that's taken place in our community. And thank you for watching this episode of What's the Plan? We'll see you next time.